Monday. October 21st, to be exact, 2013. Monday, October 21st, 2013. Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm your host, Dr. Peter Glidden. This is a live edition of Fire Your MD Now. When do I want you to do it? Now. Why do I want you to do it? Because the MDs have nothing for you when it comes to the treatment of chronic disease besides symptom suppressive, man-made, synthetic medication, the intention of which is not to cure you, but to suppress and manage your symptoms. Suppress and manage your symptoms. Suppress and manage your symptoms. The only reason that we collectively continue to put the MDs on a pedestal, the only reason that we collectively continue to seek out their services when in the face of such unbelievably poor performance is because they have monopolized the medical theater, and the educational system of the United States has nothing for us as far as objectified understanding of what our actual options are. All we're taught in school is MD-directed allopathic reductionistic medicine, but it is not taught to us as MD-directed reductionistic allopathic medicine. It's taught to us as medicine, with everything else being alternative to it. The methodology that the MDs bring to bear on the understanding of the genesis of your disease and the treatment thereof is based on a particular prejudice. It's a particular worldview. For goodness sake, you wouldn't consult a born-again Christian for information regarding reincarnation, would you? No, you wouldn't do that, because reincarnation is not inside of the philosophical construct of a born-again Christian. You would not consult a communist for information about voters' rights, would you? No, because inside of the paradigm, inside of the worldview of communism, people don't vote. It's not considered. You don't do it. A communist doesn't know anything about voters' rights. A born-again Christian doesn't know anything about reincarnation. And an atheist could give you no understanding of the relationship between man and God, because it's not inside their worldview. Well, I think the most important thing that I have to share with you, the most important message that I have, outside of the fundamental notion that the human body knows how to fix itself, the human body wants to fix itself, and most of the time all that's necessary is to give the human body the raw materials that it needs to fix itself, the medical nutrition it needs to fix itself, get out of the way, and let the healing begin. That's the most important thing I have to teach you. The next most important thing is the simple notion that the methodology that your MD is trained in is old-fashioned, outdated, dangerous, and completely derelict in its duty because it regards the human body as a machine made of parts. It regards the human body as a machine made of parts. You would not give any credence or any truck to a cartographer, a map maker, a travel agent who believed that the earth was flat, right? I mean, that would make for a pretty lousy travel agent. Hey, the earth is flat. You go too far to the east, you're going to go over the edge. So if you really want to go to China from the United States, you have to go all the way to the east. You can't go to the west, because if you do, you'll just fall off into empty space. It's nonsense. You wouldn't consult a cartographer who believed that the earth was flat to get directions about how to get from point A to point B, because their information is incorrect. Well, you shouldn't listen to anything at all that your MD has to say about chronic disease, because their point of view regarding the genesis and the treatment of chronic disease is old-fashioned, outdated, completely out of sync. They bring false, outdated, dangerous information to the table. Now, if you want to consult them about which scalpel to use to incise a tumor from your neck great. If you'd like to consult with them about which type of suture material is best suited to sew up your wound, great. If you would like to consult with them about which anesthetic is best for you to use if you need to be knocked unconscious for hip replacement surgery, then great. Because that's what they know. That's their wheelhouse. They can give you point-by-point detailed information about all that, or hopefully they can. They should be able to. A lot of them probably can't even do that. But, you know, this is their training specialty. This is where their philosophy kicks into gear. This is where their philosophy comes into focus. Because the MD is trained to believe that your body is a coincidental amalgamation of biochemicals, that there is no soul, that the body has no inherent built-in vital force, that the body has no inherent built-in intelligence, that the body does not, in fact, have the ability to fix itself, that you are basically at the mercy of nature, that the stuff that keeps your heart beating is just some type of electrical activity. God only knows where it started, and God only knows where it ends, and God's not even into the conversation because there is no spirit. There is no soul force. Consciousness itself is a function of biochemistry, that when biochemistry stops, consciousness stops. This is what your MD believes. Your MD believes that your body is a machine, just like an automobile. And when you're sick, it is the doctor's job, through diagnostic discovery, to take your body apart and find a piece that's broken and then deliver a man-made synthetic medicine, the intention of which is to manage the break, not to fix it. So you go to the MD, you spend 2 minutes with the doctor, and the rest of the time is spent with all this technological discovery, blood work, urinalysis, stool analysis, X-ray, CT, MRI, ultrasound, another CT, more blood work, in the desperate attempt to take your body apart into exceedingly, infinitely smaller pieces so that the MD can latch onto a piece that's not functioning properly, and then when you ask them what caused that piece not to function properly, they can't answer you. All they can do is deliver into your system synthetic man-made drugs, the intention of which is to overpower, control, take over, usurp the intricate metabolic workings of the human body and control them through the action of pharmaceutical medicine. Better health through chemistry. So when someone has heartburn, which is caused by a deficiency in hydrochloric acid, your MD thinks it's caused by too much stomach acid, and they give you medicines which completely suppress your body's ability to make any stomach acid, which then interferes with proper digestion, which then accelerates nutrient deficiencies, which are the genesis of all chronic disease. So you go to a medical doctor in your 20s, and you have restless legs at night in bed. Your medical doctor doesn't know that restless legs at night in bed are caused by a simple calcium deficiency, and so they give you a sedative to help you sleep better. As you get older, the calcium deficiency gets more larger, because that's the nature of nutritional deficiencies. That's the nature of nutritional deficiencies. So the restless legs at night in bed parlay into chronic low-grade anxiety and panic attacks. Chronic low-grade anxiety and panic attacks for which you are given antidepressants and anti-anxiety medications, all of which have side effects. And then the calcium deficiencies continue because they've never been depressed, and you get 5 root canals, and now you're out $10,000. Now you need crowns, you're out another $10,000, and then all of a sudden you get high blood pressure, which most of the time is a calcium and magnesium deficiency. So the medical doctor puts you on hydrochlorothiazide, which manages the blood pressure. It doesn't cure the blood pressure, it manages it, keeps you from having a heart attack by artificially dilating your blood vessels to lower your blood pressure synthetically. Hydrochlorothiazide, after 5 years of use, generates type 2 diabetes, so now you get type 2 diabetes, and the MD is all too quick to give you insulin. Now, the insulin that the MD gives you over time causes your toes to fall off, your feet to fall off, your fingers to fall off, your hands to fall off, and for you to go blind. All from simple calcium magnesium, and mineral deficiencies, which were completely undiagnosed and unrecognized by the MD. And your entire life was spent on a pharmaceutical roller coaster, which did very little to increase the quality of your life and basically made you a drugged out zombie. First, you're on sleep medication. Now you're addicted to sleep medication. You can't have a normal sleep cycle unless you take your Ambien. Now you have anxiety and panic attacks every time the wind blows because you have chronically low calcium levels, and now you're addicted to the anti-anxiety medications. You're basically a walking zombie. Now you're on high blood pressure medication. Now you're on insulin. You've got all fake teeth by now. Your teeth have all fallen out. Now you've got dentures. Now you've got arthritis. Now you've got osteoporosis, and now you're dead. A life unbelievably poorly led because of misdirection and inappropriate treatment strategies delivered by the world-famous Dr. Oz, the world-famous MD. Ladies and gentlemen, the best possible thing that you can do in order to secure your health is to fire your medical doctor when it comes to understanding the genesis and the treatment of chronic disease, because they have nothing for you. Now, what I would like everybody in the listening audience to do is to write a letter to your congressman. Say, look, I've spent X amount of dollars over the course of my life for medical insurance, and all it does is give me access to MD medicine. MD medicine is a leading cause of death in the United States, leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, and while I've been under the MD's care, this is what happened to my health. While my parents were under the MD's care, this is what happened to their health. While my brothers and sisters have been under the MD's care, this is what's happened to their health. I want a refund, and I want an immediate congressional investigation into who made the MDs king. Ladies and gentlemen, we all must hang in there together. Most assuredly, we will hang individually. 866-582-9933. That's the number to call to speak to me live today. And when we come back, we're going to talk to John in New Mexico. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you, coming at you live October 21st, 2013. I remember when AT&T was a monopoly. Do you remember that? You old enough to remember that? You know, that's when a long-distance phone call was like, I don't know, $5 a minute. It was crazy, right? Nobody made long-distance phone calls. You had to get those calling cards, right? Get those calling cards in order to make a long-distance call that didn't break the bank. Well, we all got used to that level of crappy service. I mean, that was the new normal, right? I mean, it was really, really expensive long-distance phone stuff was normal, and it was just the way that it was. Then AT&T gets deregulated. They get chopped up into, a number of different companies, all of which now start competing, and the prices drop, and now we've got all these different things, and now, with telephones, forget it. I can have a complete answering system that rivals one of those very expensive systems that, you see in legal offices and in businesses with more than 10 employees. They've got these special phones on the desks, and they all hook into a central computer, in the basement, and you can do whatever you want. You can put a call on hold. You can conference 10 people together. You can record. You can forward. You can do all this. Well, I can do exactly the same thing with a little $45 a month program that I access through the internet just from my house phone. It's crazy, the technology, and who knew it? Who would have thought that? Never would have been able to imagine that back in the days of the AT&T monopoly. Well, you have a medical monopoly here, and it's not just the U.S. It's U.S., Canada, it's the European Union, it's Australia, New Zealand. All that you know is MD-directed medicine, and everything else is this superfluous, on-the-sides alternative thing that maybe is just a piece of crap, or at least that's how it's sold to you through the media. Imagine what it would be like if you woke up tomorrow and there were as many naturopathic hospitals, as many naturopathic medical schools, as many homeopathic hospitals, as many homeopathic medical schools, as many herbalists, as many herbal hospitals as there are MD hospitals. It would be a game changer. All of a sudden, we would have access to all of these different types of medicine. Well, guess what? We are not going to wait that long. Eventually, that's going to have to happen. eventually the marketplace will sort itself out, and as we are, as we postulate, Obamacare is going to accelerate this, because what Obamacare is going to do is force more people into conventional medicine, and then more people are going to get frustrated with conventional medicine, and more people are going to look for alternatives to conventional medicine, because the conventional medicine doesn't work. So, rather than build more naturopathic medical schools and glad hand more legislators and have more bake sales and raise more money to fund the licensure and regulation of naturopathic medicine and get more naturopathic medical schools built and finally get one naturopathic hospital built somewhere in Tucson, Arizona, rather than do all of that, which is going to take, 200 years. What we're doing right now, today, and every day, is show people the light of foundation, boilerplate, medical nutrition, foundation health recovery strategies that you don't need a doctor's visit to understand, that you don't need a doctor's visit to have somebody prescribe, foundation holistic health recovery solutions to support and promote the structure and function of your body in the face of most chronic disease. This is what we bring to the table. And this is why this business was generated and brought to life, birthed into being 18 years ago as a networked business, because we are generating a grassroots coalition of the informed, a grassroots army, a non-militant grassroots army of wise, informed individuals that understand what we are up to and that try what we are up to on for their own size and see what happens, get results, and then tell everybody in their life about it. And this is how we're going to change the world. You don't need a barium enema, ladies and gentlemen. You don't need a CT scan or an MRI or an ultrasound or blood analysis. You don't need that stuff. Not initially. What you need to do is eliminate dangerous food from your dietary intake, clean up your diet, eliminate 10 bad foods, and give your body the raw medical nutrients it needs every day, appropriate for your body weight, in really good recipes. And that's what we bring to the table. Foundation, boilerplate medical nutrition. Fill your tank up, eliminate the 10 bad foods, have an eye towards antioxidant consumption, get the heck out of the way and let your body fix itself. Why? Because it can. Why can the body fix itself? I don't know. Ask God. It can. What we do is support that. It's a really smart idea, and it will revolutionize the way that medicine is delivered in the United States. Are you ready to help us? Join the revolution. It starts now. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health, talking to you today and weekdays from 3 to 5 Central about all things having to do with reality-based, science-based, clinically verified, good for you, new-fashioned medical nutrition. Let's go to New Mexico and see what John's up to. Hey, John, thanks for the phone call. You were live.
Hey, Dr. Glidden. A couple quick statements and then 2 questions. First of all, seeing is believing. I went to a seminar that Dr. Wallach had in Albuquerque, and on August the 8th, I started as a preferred customer, and in less than 3 months, I'm down from 204 pounds to 171.5. That's 32.5 pounds, 6 feet tall. I haven't weighed this much since I was probably a sophomore in high school. My 30-year high school reunion is coming up in March. So seeing is believing. There's no doubt about that. I was at a wedding in St. George, Utah this weekend. I've got 4 people who want to sign up just after seeing the results. And it's not just that. I mean, there are people who I'm just doing weight loss stuff. I didn't really have any major problems. Can you imagine somebody who's got heart problems that actually gets rid of all their heart meds and all that kind of stuff? And then another statement is, I think in 10 to 15 years, longevity will be what Herbalife is today, if not bigger. That's what I think.
Well, I think so, too. Yeah, so let me talk about that for just a second here. It's a good point, right? Most network marketing companies exist not to sell the product, but to sell the compensation plan. The product is just there as a vehicle, well, get a couple of vitamins and, make $1,000 a month is the type of a deal. There are a lot of network marketing companies where part of the pitch is, well, the product is irrelevant. Just buy the product because that's what you have to do every month in order to get paid by the company. Just throw it in the trash because what we're really selling here is the business opportunity, the compensation plan, right? So now, the products that Herbalife has, the products that every other nutritional supplement company have, they're not even in the same league as Youngevity's. I mean, it's a completely different league. It's like trying to compare a Ferrari to a Toyota. Not that there's anything wrong with a Toyota, but it's a completely different classification of automobile, completely different animal. It's the same thing with Youngevity. And once people understand that it was the products first and the network marketing solution came in secondary in order to help build Youngevity Nation, right? That once people really get that and understand it, it sets Youngevity apart from every other network marketing company in the world. And then, like you said, proof of the pudding is in the eating. Once you start to experience results like this, I mean, the rest is just gravy. So I'm right with you. I'm not a stock analyst, but, I think it's a good idea to buy some Youngevity stock at this moment in time.
I have it too. Well, anyway, anybody who hasn't seen me for 3 months they want to talk to me now. So it's absolutely amazing. My nurse practitioner wife, who is working on a DNP, is now convinced, and she's lost 13 pounds. She hasn't been as hard and heavy at it with me. But I'm not killing myself on a treadmill. I might do 1 or 2 days a week of a 12-mile bike ride and karate, and that's it. I'm not killing myself on a treadmill. Anyway.
Now, we'll get to your question in a minute, but I like talking to you, John. Who told you about Youngevity? How did you get into it in the first place? Well,
I've been listening to Dr. Wallach's program for probably a little over a year. I've wanted to get on it, and we had done Isogenics about a year and a half ago, and I went from 204 down to 196 very quickly, but I could never break the 196 plateau. Nothing, and nothing I had ever done, anything had ever gotten me below 196. And I'm a pretty athletic guy. I have a fairly muscular build, but I never could get below 196, and so who's going to drink shakes and nothing but shakes? You need satiation. You want to chew. You want to do that. I wasn't going to sit there and drink shakes. So after 6 months, I just kind of scrapped it, and I went back to 204 and, kind of pretty much hung out there. And then, I wasn't gluten-free at the time. I have since learned that I have a gluten intolerance, and, my mom's got rosacea, so I know she's got a gluten intolerance and passed it to me. Right. So I've tested the other things. So, my wife didn't want me to get into it around January this year when I really wanted to start, and she said, we got all this isogenic stuff left over. We got to get rid of it. Well, I got rid of it, all right. I got rid of it in the trash can. But, there's nothing wrong with the taste of their shakes, but who's going to do – and Dr. Wallach's got the shakes too, but you're not going to do that forever. It's not physical. It's not practical. So you got to eat your real foods. But so I finally convinced her after the city that I worked for because I was a whistleblower, bought me out. So I figured, well, until we get PCS to another city, I'm probably not going to have much of an opportunity to apply for a job in government again. So, and I may never get back in at this point, being almost 50 years old. So let's try this out, see how it goes, and then potentially do it as a business. I'll test the waters, dip my foot in, and if I believe in it, then I'll kind of go hardcore. Well, last week on Tuesday, I went from just the preferred customer to CEO. So I bought in as a CEO, and since then, about 6 people haven't seen me in at least 3 months, and they all they all want to know, and they all want to sign up. So, seeing is believing. I mean, there's no denying it. So that's...
Well, it's only going to get better, John. I mean,
it is.
And good for you. And by the way, most people, if not all, of the very successful longevity distributors came in just to see if it worked. They came in for their health. They weren't really interested in the business. And then, son of a gun, the business kind of took them by surprise. And before you know it, they're making real money.
And I like your idea about hitting up churches and using the church as the vehicle to get their membership, and that's the direction I'm going to go. Plus, I'm going to get my car wrapped and things like that, because I have a friend who does the isogenics, and she's now out of that, and she does It Works, and, well, she just lives up the street from me, and she hasn't seen me since I was down at 187 pounds, but now that I'm 17 pounds less than that, she's really going to go nuts. So
well,
it'll be
there's more than one way to skin the cat, John.
Exactly.
Thanks for calling. You have a question about blood sugar, I think?
I do. So one of the guys at my buddy's wedding, he buried his mother, his father, and his sister all in about a 3-month period within the last year, and he's put on a significant amount of weight. He's got some problems. He looks like he's pre-diabetic based on what his doctor said. He's 5'8", 230 pounds, so basically I just want to work out the formula. I'm thinking he needs 2 healthy blood sugar packs. He did say he's got a little bit of elbow and back problems, so I'm thinking about he needs the glucogel as well, and I don't know how many the 240 count do for that.
Well, you don't want to
get him on the ASCP.
Yeah. So you don't want to scare someone away like this.
Oh no, he's not scared at all.
All right. So if
he makes coin, he's good.
All right. So then the recommendation would be 2 healthy blood sugar packs.
Right.
4 bottles of selenium.
4
2 healthy blood sugar packs. 4 bottles of selenium. Now, what did you say? He's 240.
He's 230 and 5'8".
All right, so 230, you divide that by 10, that's 23. You multiply that by 30, that's 690. So he's going to need 700 glucogels a day. 2, 4, 6, a month. Yeah, okay. So 3 bottles of the 240 glucogel.
3 240s, okay.
Yeah, plus go gluten-free.
Oh, yeah, I already told him you got to get off the gluten altogether.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking he should get the ASAP and potentially starting out, if he wants to lose it more rapidly, do the Slender FX as well.
Well, did you do the ASAP?
I did the ASAP. I finished my second bottle of ASAP a week ago, and this weekend, with all the food that there was at the wedding, I lost 1.5 pounds.
Yeah, amazing, right?
So and I'm not even doing the ASAP anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's how it goes. So what I would recommend for someone who's over, who's like 240, I would have him do just the medical nutrition for the first month.
Right.
Eliminate the 10 bad foods.
Right.
And then and he'll lose weight doing that.
Yes.
And then the second month, he can dial in the ASAP program in addition to everything. But I would nutrify his body first, because once he aggressively starts losing weight on the ASAP program, his body is going to need nutrient reserves in order to process the crap that the fat's going to liberate, right?
Okay. Good.
So it's better and safer that way. Plus, it might be too much all at once. Holy smokes, I got to take these supplements. I got to eat 500 calories. I got to do that. I got to count calories. What am I going to do, right?
Okay. Now,
if you ease him into it, it might be better.
Okay. Second question I have, and maybe, I don't know, it's Dr. Waller type question, but love the original formula BTT. Not so crazy about 2.0. It's just a little bit too tangy for me. Are they going to work on, or can you kind of grease the skids for maybe a Beyond Berry Blast or something and do a berry version of it? Because I love blueberries and blackberries and strawberries. If there was a berry flavor, I would go crazy for that.
Is that right? There was a company that Longevity subsumed. I think it was Adaptogenics, I'm not sure, but they have a concentrated berry juice, and I think it's blueberry. I think it's called True Blue. So, when you go in the Longevity back office and you place an order, and then you get the drop-down list of all the companies, right? just search through those companies or put into the search bar True Blue or just the word blue,
right,
and see if a liquid concentrated blueberry supplement pops up. And then, I mean, what you can do.
Just drop it in.
Yeah, just drop it in. Get a bottle of that. Have you tried the Z Radical?
I have not.
Well, the Z Radical has a very interesting taste, and it's berryish, and it's a dark purple fruit, dark purple juice. You might want to get some Z Radical. I mean, that's one of my favorite initial add-ons. Once you've got the basic program dialed in.
Yeah, my favorite tasting product that there is when I get the CEO pack. My favorite product that I've tasted is the Rebound. That stuff blows Gatorade away. It's just outstanding.
I know. Well,
the kids love it too. So playing soccer, they're going to get one of those during their soccer games.
Well, I'll tell you what I do. Of course, one man's ceiling is another woman's floor, right? And there's no accounting for taste. But I do 1 scoop of Rebound, 2 scoops of Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and 1 scoop or 1 ounce of Cherry Mints. But feel free to mix and match the stuff and try to come up with a taste that you can do, because I got to tell you, it's going to be a while before Longevity rolls out anything new to the new Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0.
Okay, and I do have one other question that because Dr. Wall can be a little cranky, we know that. The liquid version of the OsteoFX has sodium benzenate and potassium scorbate in it.
That's right.
And I've read bad things about those things.
Don't worry about the bad things that you've read, because you have to keep it all in perspective. Those things are only bad when you do massive amounts of them. And if those things weren't there, you wouldn't be able to swallow the stuff, because it would go bad in 3 days. If that's a game stopper for people, just do the powdered calcium, because there's no preservatives in it. We're out of time, John. I appreciate the call. Welcome back, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here with you. Worldwide today. Going to go to Arizona and talk to Fayreen about pain in her back. Hey, Fayreen, thanks for the call. You are live.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Glidden.
Come on in, Fayreen. How's it going?
Oh, I'm having a tough time. My daughter called you on Friday and was telling you about my pain that I'm still having. You were down here in April, and you told me the protocol to do and everything, and I've been doing this. And from a crushed vertebrae, my L1, and I'm just still having a lot of pain. I think I'm doing better, and my chiropractor says I'm doing good, but I'm just still having a lot of pain, and it's just hard to feel like doing anything.
Well, so did your daughter give you my instructions?
Yes, and I did. I upped my calcium 4 times a day, and I've been taking Epsom salts in the evening.
Yep, and I also advised you to pay attention to the quality of the pain. Were you able to do that?
Well, I feel like I kind of have a rod at my back. It's kind of a dull pain, but I've been having a lot of pain in my hips, and it's just aching, and sometimes some sharp pains, but a lot of aching. And like last night, I went to bed at 9 and woke up at 12 and couldn't go back to sleep till 4 because my hips were hurting so bad. So I took a half a hydrocodone, and I've just been trying to take 1 pill a day, but yesterday it was 1.5. I took a oxycodone and a half a hydrocodone last night.
And whoa, slow down. So that's all irrelevant to my intentions here. So what makes the pain worse and what makes it better?
When I'm sitting, it hurts the most, and when I've been lying, if I lie down too long, I have to get up and walk around.
Oh, is that right? You have to get up and walk around, and if you walk around,
it just feels better to get up and just walk around a little bit instead of lying down. But when I'm sitting, it's like
yeah. Can you predict a rainstorm?
Pardon?
Are you able to predict a rainstorm? Does your back start to hurt?
No, that has nothing to do.
Nothing to do with it. All right. Which feels better on your back, a hot application or a cold application?
Well, I was doing hot, and then my chiropractor said, no, don't do hot, because that just makes, I can't remember what he said, but to do ice on it. So I do ice on it once in a while.
All right. Regardless of what anybody tells you, which feels better and which is more soothing, a hot application or a cold application?
Probably the heat.
Okay, very good. And does the pain, is it in the top of the back, the middle of the back, the bottom of the back? Where is it?
It's kind of in the area where the L1 vertebrae is, and sometimes it'll go up a little bit even farther, but mainly, and it's gotten a lot more pain recently in my hip area, lower back.
Okay, very good.
And I've also I started taking the Lavinity this week. I was up in Utah, and my niece gave me a bottle of Lavinity, and then she gave me the CM pills and some CM gels. And I've been taking them, and I don't know if I'm taking the right amount or what, or if that will help or what.
Okay, very good. Does lying on your right side or your left side or your stomach or your back make any difference?
I can lie on my side, either side for a little bit, but then it starts hurting, and then I'll lay on my back, and sometimes I try to lay on my stomach, and sometimes that helps a little bit too.
Okay, very good. All right. So are you familiar with homeopathic medicine?
Yes.
All right. So at the health food store, there's a homeopathic. Now, homeopathic medicine is hit or miss, right? You have to hit the bullseye in order for that to become dialed in. So the best guess here, the best recommendation would be, survey says, hold on, let me pull up my grid in 46 seconds. Homeopathic Rus toxicodendron, let me spell that for you. R, H like Harry, U, S like Sam. Second word, Toxico, D like David, E-N, D like David, R-O-N. Rus toxicodendron. Get it in the 200C or the 200CK strength, please. Take 2 pellets 3 times a day for 5 days, and then call me back. Homeopathic Rus toxicodendron in the 200C or the 200CK strength. 2 pellets orally 3 times a day for 5 days, and let's see what happens. Hour 2 coming up, folks. Dr. Glidden, stick around.